Howdy chaps, and welcome back to another episode where we are working on the EJ. It's not a lot of progress, but it's some. And I figured after my decision last night and the video I posted up, I got quite a lot of lovely comments, and I may not stop the workshop videos, but I'm certainly going to roll them back. If there's something that I know would be helpful to know, I will absolutely film it. But just same old stuff, I'm not going to bother. This video I might give you a bit of an update of things that's been going on in the workshop, and we'll do a bit of work on the EJ and show you how far I've got with that. Might as well start here with the Pantera. I have since rectified down there. That's a lot of work. If you were watching the Facebook pages, you would have seen how I did all that, but basically handmade everything from that region there. I'll throw up a couple of photos of before and afters, and next week I'll be tackling this side. And the cars are on a rotate, so we'll be back on this very shortly. But the EJ is the main focus for the moment. You might notice the motor is now missing. The engine bay is stripped. I'm not going to strip it any further than this. I may swap the steering column with another one, because I noticed when I was playing with it, that's incredibly loose in the pivot there, and I'll have to have a closer look at that. I took the clutch sleeve off and just about bent it over my shoulder because, well, it was leaking and didn't work. I mean, it did work, but it would push fluid out the back and down the inside of the firewall, so I was like, got rid of you. I left the brakes connected because when these start rolling away, they're not hard to stop, but being able to hit the brake pedal is also very useful. So I've left the brakes connected because they do actually function. I'm basically just going to wire wheel, paint strip wire wheel, and just get it all back to something reasonable. I noticed the paint stripper is having a very difficult time getting rid of the red lead, which is interesting. Also noticed that it would appear that when they were painting these, that the wireframes ended up with some red lead on them. Although, mind you, considering they built these cars in about 40 different factories, they didn't, but you know, I'm just exaggerating. I've noticed some different techniques from factory to factory, so you might not find the same consistency across the whole board depending on where your car was made. This one was made in Melbourne. A little baby rust hole to fix there, some in the floors, got to do the rear floors. The boot floor is perfect, got to do the beaver panel, dog legs. The left hand rear quarter is pretty messed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this guy, which is a die grinder with a fairly aggressive coral wheel on it, or strip disc, or whatever you want to call them, and we're going to have a crack at doing the front of this. And I always suggest wearing eye protection, because if it catches on an edge, this stuff will come off and get you square in the eyes. Not always, but if it does, you'll know about it. I pulled the wiring loom out. I'm going to take that home and rewrap it and make it look a bit prettier. I just tidy everything up. We're just going to tidy up what's here, you know, bare metal, etch prime, repaint, do the same sort of thing with the engine, replace anything that needs to be replaced, and then drop the guy back in the hole and make this a running and driving shell again. I also need to somehow find myself the cross member that goes underneath the car. EJ and EH1s are different. EH1s actually have a little in them for the trans mount, or EJ ones don't. The EJ one basically just bolts to the car and does nothing, but I don't have one. I've got an EH one, but I don't have an EJ one. So if anybody's out there and happens to have one, or wants to swap an EH one for an EJ one, please sing out, because you do actually need them if you're going to turn an EJ into a red motor conversion, because the grey motor mounts there and there, whereas an EH has two pegs, that's 2 feet that stick up here, and the third mount is underneath the cross member. So I'm just going to set up a time lapse and see how far I get with this, and if you are enjoying it, well then keep on keeping on, and I'll just see what I get filmed. Alrighty chaps, I didn't want to film me wire wheeling forever. I did want to point out though that you don't always necessarily need fancy schmancy tools. Sometimes a drill with a wire brush gets you a fairly good result. I mean, I was just using that because it's what I got, but you'd be surprised how often I will use a drill with a wire brush to get something looking nice. And I've just thrown etch on it. Eventually when I'm finished getting the whole lot like that, I'll probably go over it again and then be done with it. But yes, I've actually got stuff to do tonight, so unfortunately this video has to be cut short here. I pulled some dents out of there because I actually realised that side was crushed in a little bit. There's actually a rust hole obviously there and here. So I think in the next EJ video I think I'm going to whip out a welder and fix that. There's a split over there. Maybe the tops of the these guys, there's a little hole there and a few things. Might do that in the next EJ video. So yeah, this is short and sweet, but I hope you enjoy it, and I am getting stuck into it. And once we have it all done, it'll get all painted in the sort of dark bluey grey colour that the engine bays are supposed to be. I'll paint up the motor, put that in, reassemble it and make it a driver, and then once I've done this I'll sort of tape off the engine bay, cover it up so that it doesn't get any worse, and then work my way front to back. So I hope you enjoy this video, and I'll see you in the next one.